Hello, hello, hello. Wow, what a day, huh? I am waiting for a food delivery, so unfortunately, I'm gonna have to run for a minute after my doorbell rings, and they're running late, of course. So, as if 2020 couldn't get worse, you got Biden as our president, and my food delivery's late. It's just how it is. That's just the next 4 years. Um, so wow, how about this, huh? Jeez. I can't believe they're calling it right now. I mean, I can see why, but I mean, let's look at Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is Biden's only leading by like 3,400 votes. It's insane. Like I don't and apparently all these ballots are going to be contested, so I just don't understand. I don't know. Well, I'm just looking at the chat and it's crazy. I'm sorry I was on before. YouTube, the thing just decided that they were gonna start streaming. So and I was like, oh no, I wasn't ready, and I totally wasn't ready. I was even using the wrong program, and I was having problems with the microphone. And anyway, happy Saturday, I guess. I don't know. Look, I can't say that I'm conceding right now because, quite frankly, Trump hasn't officially lost. There's a ton of legal challenges happening. We'll go through all of that. I mean, states are still being counted. They're still being counted as if they didn't have months to prepare for this mail-in voting. As if they didn't have months. And they decide to change rules within 90 days in Nevada. And all just the scale was tipped for Biden throughout this whole time. I mean, just think about this for a second. We've been hearing about a blue wave for months. A blue wave. Democrats are going to take the Senate. Democrats are going to add more seats in the House. Biden was going to win in a landslide. It didn't happen. None of that happened. Democrats have gained one seat in the Senate. And Republicans still, there are runoff elections in Georgia, and let's assume that the Republicans are going to win both. That's it. It's going to be 52-48. Biden, if he in fact does become president, is not going to be able to get anything done. Hell, he might not even be able to get confirmations because they're talking about Bernie Sanders as Secretary of Labor. Like, really? Republicans are going to say absolutely no to that. Elizabeth Warren as Secretary of the Treasury, they're going to say no to that too. And unlike Pence, who was the tie-breaking vote as president of the Senate, Kamala Harris is not going to she's not going to be the tie-breaking vote because Republicans have a clear majority. And this is the first time in 30 years since Reagan's first term that there hasn't been a matching party majority with the president. So Reagan comes in and the Senate was Democrat. But with Clinton, with Obama, with Bush, they were all, same party. So Obama, for the first 2 years, had a Democratic-controlled Congress. And that's usually how it works. And then when the midterms come, there's kind of a referent, like people, the other party gets mobilized, and then they go vote, and then they flip Congress. But right now, we have a Republican Congress that is it's not gonna pass Obamacare. It's not gonna pass any kind of immigration reform. It's not gonna pass anything. If they play hardball, it's gonna be locked. So let's just cross our fingers that McConnell actually plays hardball, because that would be great. I mean, they tried to, for example, when Betsy DeVos wanted to, when she was in her confirmation hearings, split down the middle, and Pence had to come in and actually vote for her, so it could be 51-50. Anyway, this is not an easy day. Somebody texted me and said, I think it's it's officially over. It's not officially over. And then all I heard outside my New York apartment was air horns, and actually somebody launched some fireworks of all things, and clapping and cheering, and expletive Trump, and just wow, just kind of crazy. Anyway, so I honestly don't think that this is going to be so bad if Biden wins, because first of all, you think Biden's going to win, like he's going to run again in 2024? That's not happening. That's not happening. The conventional wisdom is that he's not even going to last a full term. I mean, I'm not wishing any ill will on the man, but let's just say that, I mean, even last night when he was talking, like he kept messing up little lines. He's just reading off a teleprompter. How long has he been practicing that speech, right? Harris will likely take over. She'll probably pick somebody as her VP. And then in 2024, people are going to be like, we don't want Harris. We didn't vote for her. We voted for the Obama administration 2.0. And that's, Biden care. Anyway, first of all, if Harris does become the president, who do you think she'll become vice president? Put in the chat right now. Go into chat right now and tell me who you think will be Harris's pick as VP, because we can just talk about that right now. Wow, this is crazy. First of all, I want to get to a super chat real quick, because this is a let's see. Oh man, I never know how to pronounce these names. But Tal Nguyen, I think. I'm sorry. But he says, "Hi Andrew, what do you think about AOC tweet rounding up Trump supporters to be punished?" Yeah, she's basically saying that all these sycophants, that all these, butt kissers to Trump, that they need to be held accountable, and that's crazy. That's so crazy. It's just like they're coming for us. They're coming for us, and we need to stop it. Hopefully, the midterm elections will not be the chaos that it was this year. I mean, we have officially not counted all these things. Pennsylvania is not official. I mean, none of these are certified. It's going to take a while anyway. It's going to be a few weeks before any of these results are certified. But anyway, thank you for that. That super chat is very, very generous. As I said before, my buzzer is going to go off like whenever, and I'll run out for a second. But okay, so I'm seeing a lot of AOC will be her VP, and Danny DeVito, Bernie Sanders. Could you imagine? If she makes Bernie Sanders? No, I think she's gonna total identity politics, and she's probably gonna pick somebody like Booker. That would be my guess. Or Stacey Abrams, maybe. But I would say Cory Booker. That would be my best guess, because they're buddies and they have the same. They're on the same page with a lot of stuff. So Hillary, Pete Buttigieg, maybe. I mean, if she wants to go that way, if she wants to go complete identity politics, yeah. No, not Nancy Pelosi. She's too old. And Cory Booker's young too. I think Cory Booker might be younger than Kamala, actually. Hunter Biden. Yeah, maybe. No, not Gabbard. No. Remember, Harris, Gabbard was definitely very helpful in stopping Harris from even reaching a primary. So, wow, chat's going crazy. It's good to see all of you. Thank you for stopping by the way. I think it's still going on. Great. I think everything's fine. Crailer Maid says, I'm genuinely curious why you live in New York City. Do you get fed up there with the local government there? I'm moving. I don't know where. I was waiting for all this election craziness to kind of calm down. I don't know where I'm moving, but I can't live here. I'm like, not that I'm making $4,000 or higher a year. I'm no 50 Cent, but taxes are outrageous. When you add city taxes and state taxes, plus federal taxes, forget it. Like I'm gonna get creamed with taxes this year anyway. But I need to move, and I haven't decided where yet. But I need to move soon. I need to figure that out. Maybe where's the brick wall? Brick walls. Oh, actually, I mean the brick wall's over there. Sorry. And then when I move, I'll bring the brick wall with me. I don't know how I'm gonna bring exposed brick, but I will have a brick wall no matter what, and it will be a real brick wall. It won't be a green screen. My brick wall is real, by the way. Oh wow, I'm getting a lot of suggestions. The moon, Austin. Why would I want to move to Austin? I mean, I don't know. Maybe Texas. I've been considering it. I was in Texas the other day for like 5 minutes at a layover in Dallas. This is a couple months ago. Andrew, you should check your Discord more often. I don't have the time. I'm sorry. It's been and I don't usually answer direct messages, and I definitely tell people not to @me. But if you want to go, if I do have a Discord, it's in it's in the description, or at least on my about page. Wow. How are you guys? Are you guys excited? Are you guys excited for Joe Biden, for 4 years of Joe Biden? Really? I mean, I know I am. I'm thrilled. Well, for 4 years, give or take. Nobody believes this dude's going to serve his term. But I mean, God bless him. God bless Joe. Joe, he not divisive at all. He's not the most. He's going to be one of the most divisive presidents ever. You think Trump is bad? No. I love it. So my video is not. It's not getting ads now. Did I say anything wrong? Like, this happens to me all the time. I always get limited monetization on my live streams. YouTube is just ridiculous. Anyway, I'm going to get to super chats later, I promise. But like, what do you guys want to talk about right now other than the election here? Let's see. Well, okay, so I have some predictions, and the thing is, I was working on a prediction video. I was actually thinking about, who's going to possibly be in Joe's administration, what's going to happen. I mean, he's going to do executive orders. He's going to do a ton of them, and one of the first ones he's going to do is for the Dreamers, because Trump ended the DACA program, essentially. And he's just going to redo it, because the problem with the DACA program was that you can let all these people stay, but you have to keep reporting in every couple of years. Like there was with Obama and DACA, there was no path to citizenship. And that's what Trump tried to do. Trump tried to make a deal where they said, look, okay, well, give me a border wall, give me money for the border wall, and we can make a deal and make like 1.8 million DACA recipients, like give them a path, which Obama never did. He just signed a thing, and which is kind of worthless, really. And the Democrats wouldn't give it to him because they didn't want to give him a win. They didn't want to give him the border wall. And who knows what's going to happen to the border wall now? Who knows if Joe's going to, which would be dumb, to like stop construction on a thing that protects the country, but okay, sure. Golly. So, what else was I thinking? I was thinking that there's just going to be so much gridlock now, because by the midterms, people are not going to be happy with Joe Biden as president. I mean, let's just look at this. Look at how close Look at how close this all was. Think about it. After COVID, civil unrest, impeachment, 4 years of Russia collusion that wasn't a thing. The media tipping the scale and, screaming that Trump is, a race, I want to get demonetized. I mean, I am already, but whatever. After all of that, this was an incredibly close election, incredibly close, and it's not over yet. It is not over yet. Not over yet. I mean, they're not even calling Alaska yet, and Alaska has 62% for Donald Trump, and Alaska's gonna go red. I mean, come on. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, you can kind of tell where the states are going by who won in the Senate, and that's why Arizona was concerning, because Mark Kelly beat Martha McSally, and I think some of that might come to, well, Mark Kelly's a famous astronaut, so maybe he got like astronaut points for that, but if a state tends to pick a senator, that's a Democrat, they're probably going to vote Democrat as far as the president goes. But they haven't called North Carolina. Let me refresh this. They haven't called North Carolina yet, and it's not that close. I mean, it's like within like 70,000 votes, and it's like 98% estimated votes reported. Why they aren't calling it, I don't get it. Because they don't want to give Trump more than they don't want to give Trump more than the 214. It's been at 214 for it seems like months now. I was at Tim Pool's over election day, and then the next day they asked me to stay, and I stayed. And Tim's great. I met a lot of really cool people. But it didn't feel like a wake or anything. I think everything felt kind of fine. I think we were all pretty hopeful because it was so early. And Pennsylvania, like, he was leading in Pennsylvania. He won Florida. He won Ohio. And generally, you don't win the presidency without Ohio and Florida. And so we were like, well, oh, there's my food. Hang on, I'll be right back. All right. Sorry, gang. Okay. So, yeah. So normally Ohio and Florida, you win the presidency, and that's great. But this is going to be, if the shenanigans aren't caught in Pennsylvania, and who knows if how much the legal, sorry, I got to catch my breath. I don't know about the legal wrangling from the Trump team. Hopefully they can make something stick. But right now I'm a little skeptical that they're going to be able to make progress in Nevada, in Arizona, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, and now Georgia. And Georgia's so close. And this is pretty much revenge from Stacey Abrams, because apparently Stacey Abrams' group Fair Fight Georgia, they had signed up, supposedly, they had signed up 1 million registered voters. And that's crazy. 1 million registered voters, that's a lot. And I think a lot of them, I mean, I don't know if they all voted. But Georgia is super close. Georgia is within something like it's just like 7,000 votes It's so close everywhere. But I guess my point is that with all the things that happened this year, with COVID, with unrest, with everything, that this is the best that the Democrats could do. Like, there was no blue wave. This is not a blue wave. This is a sputter. And that's a good thing. Because with the Senate immediately blocked for the next 2 years from Biden being able to pass any legislation, and I'm talking there will be no Biden care. There will be no immigration reform. There won't be anything. There won't be anything to do with the Second Amendment. Yes, thank you. Jesus, late already, and okay. So Andrew Cuomo, Bill de Blasio, 2024. Oh God, no. So let's think about who's going to be in his administration. Andrew Yang, they were talking about Andrew Yang being part of some tech department that doesn't actually exist. Maybe it'll make him like chief of like the Genius Bar or something. I don't know. Maybe they're talking about maybe Gavin Newsom, Stacey Abrams, since she helped Biden possibly win Florida. They're going to give her something. Maybe because she's studied foreign policy for 25 years, they'll give her like Secretary of State. Can you imagine? And if somebody in the Supreme Court is going to leave, they better do it now. They better do it now for Biden, because in 2024, like as of January 1st, 2024, Mitch McConnell, if he's still the leader, he will not. It'll be a repeat of 2016. He will not even consider a Supreme Court justice. Not even close. Hopefully it's not Roberts. That's the last person you want to retire, because you don't want to have to replace a Chief Justice with somebody that Biden or Harris picks. You do not want that. That's worst case scenario. But hopefully Thomas and Alito and Breyer, hopefully none of those guys retire. So I think the Supreme Court's fine. And there's no packing the Supreme Court. There will be no Puerto Rico as a state. There will be no Washington, D.C. as a state. So you can forget all that stuff now. You can forget it now. Because remember, everybody was concerned when there was supposed to be a blue wave. But now with the Senate holding, and again, as long as the Republicans win the contests in January, don't worry about it. We're gonna have 52-48, and we could maybe have more, because once all these shenanigans happen in the Biden-Harris administration, don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. And we're not going to have 8 years of Joe Biden. That's not going to happen. So it's almost good in a way. It's almost good in a way if you deal with, because here's what would happen. If Trump wins, you're definitely going to have a Democratic president, and that could be 8 years, right? We're not going to have 8 years of Democrats. I guarantee it. You can record this now. You can quote me now. That will not happen. I guarantee it. And the Republicans are going to be smart. And they're going to run somebody like Tim Scott. They're going to run somebody like Kristi Noem. They're going to have Republicans are going to have to go identity politics with this to win over female voters and white women. You're going to have to go for a woman or somebody of color. And Tim Scott's great too anyway. So that's not even a problem. I like Tim Scott. I like Kristi Noem. I'm hearing like Dan Crenshaw, Ted Cruz. Not Ted Cruz. Not happening. I would actually rather see Ted Cruz be nominated for the Supreme Court. Actually, I don't think he's presidential material, but I do think that he would be an amazing Supreme Court justice. And let's cross our fingers that happens. Trust me, that would be amazing. Tell me right now, no, not Nikki Haley, because Nikki Haley is a neocon, and she, if it was up to her, we'd probably have a war right now in Syria. So forget it. Forget Nikki Haley. I'm not a fan. Sorry to anyway, Tim Pool 2024. Mike Pence, I like Mike Pence, but he does not have that Trump energy. We need somebody who can really rally the troops. And Mike Pence is a very calming voice in the Trump administration. I do not see him riling up, mobilizing the base like Trump does. I mean, there's never going to be another President Trump. I mean, that's it. And it's sad. It's sad that this is how it ends, but as you can see, I'm not upset, right? I'm confused as to why so many people would vote for Joe Biden. I don't understand. But then again, it's so close anyway. And you're gonna hear this a lot, by the way. You're gonna hear, well, Joe Biden got more votes than any other Democratic president, any other president ever. It's like, yeah, because they shoved votes all in our face. How many of these ballots are going to be disqualified? How many? It's going to be interesting to see, and I'm hoping, because they're just counting them really fast. Now they're going to do a recount, and hopefully there'll be more of there'll be more scrutiny on these ballots. So let's just cross our fingers and hope that that's how it all works out. Wow, Trey Gowdy for SCOTUS. No, I think Ted Cruz is he's better at it. He's, I think he knows the Constitution a lot better. I would, Trey Gowdy. And also, if you ever watch Trey Gowdy when he goes on Hannity, he is so boring. He's so boring. Trey Gowdy was fine as a congressperson. I was a little kind of mad at him when he went into the private sector, and of course he wanted to be on Fox, so that's his thing. But whatever. Anyway, so still demonetized for no reason. Just this is ridiculous. For why? I didn't say anything weird. Thanks, YouTube. Appreciate you. I didn't curse. I didn't say anything bad. Anyway, Tucker Carlson. Somebody's saying Diamond and Silk 2024. Sure, but who's the president and who's the vice president? I don't know. I keep hearing Tucker Carlson. Rand Paul. No, I keep hearing Tucker Carlson. But honestly, who would want that job? Who would want to be president? Who, in their right mind, wants to be president? And don't say Andrew 2024. Forget it. It's not. No. Mike Lee for SCOTUS. Yeah, maybe. But definitely Ted Cruz. He's the constitutional expert. Oh, great. I just did a thing. I just spilled water. That's what Trump does. He's always like this. So he doesn't spill it. It's too busy reading the chat. Yeah, Ben Shapiro. I don't know if Ben Shapiro will ever run for office. I kind of feel like he's very happy being a commentator and very rich for being a commentator. So I don't see that happening. But what I do like is I like the fact that he's a lawyer and he's whip smart. I mean, he could do it. I mean, he knows a little bit about everything. He's a very well-rounded person as far as information and politics. But I don't think that he's going to run. Candace Owens, I could see her running for Congress maybe down the line. I don't know what her background is. I I don't know. I don't think she's a lawyer or anything. I think the best legislators are. I think the best legislators are lawyers and economists. I used to just say lawyers because that's what a legislator does. They're making law, but I don't. Then somebody pointed out like economists. I'm like, yeah, well, that too. um, you know, it definitely helps, and it definitely helps if you run a business. But Trump's not making law really. He's an idea guy, and then he tells his people what he wants, and then they draw it up. So, on the other hand, like AOC, she needs to have, like, she's not an economist. She's not anything. She's kind of just empty up here, if you know what I mean. So, Kayleigh McEnany, I'm going to miss her, man. She'll probably end up getting some kind of spot on Fox, maybe again. I mean, they have Sarah Sanders on all the time, so I'd like to see Kayleigh. But it was so fun watching the daily press briefings with her. It was so great. It was perfect. And then thanks to COVID, it just kind of all stopped. Shapiro Owens. Yeah, Crenshaw. I'm not sold on Crenshaw, and I said this on Tim's show the other night. I'm not sold on him, but hey, you just need somebody that can rile up the base like Trump. And I keep hearing, well, maybe Trump will run in 2024, but I don't know. I think he's done. I don't think he needs this again. He didn't need this in the first place. He did this as a public service, I think. It wasn't to build his brand. His brand just got shot to heck. Yeah, I feel... I mean, I like Ivanka as somebody in the White House with him. I had no problem with that as far as nepotism goes. It's better than Hunter Biden. Wow. Okay. So, let's see. What do you guys... Tom Cotton. Tom Cotton... No. He doesn't have that it factor. That X factor. He doesn't have it. And that's really important. Like, Biden didn't have it. But Biden was... There was nostalgia with him. There was a nostalgia factor with him. And people did not vote for him because of Harris. Trust me. People voted for him because there was a hope that he would carry on the Obama, all the Obama policies and kind of throw back to Obama. But, and remember, people voted... When people went to the polls, they voted against Trump. They didn't vote for Biden. That's just how it is. And I've done several. I did 3 Man on the Street episodes. I only released 1 because the other 2 just didn't work for me. But everybody, like, people could talk about how much they love Trump, his policies, what he was doing. And with Biden, it was just like, oh, I hate Trump. That's all it was. Like, they couldn't tell you what they liked about him. In fact, a lot of people are like, well, I don't like Joe, but I really hate Trump. And that's what it came down to. And that's why everybody's celebrating right now, because it's the end of Trump. It's the end of probably the greatest president as far as policy goes. One of the greatest presidents of our time, if not like the greatest. I would make that argument. I'm not going to do it right now, but I would definitely make that argument. He's up there with Reagan. He's up there with Lincoln. There will never be anybody. There will never be anybody like Trump. There will never be another President Trump. And if only somebody took away his Twitter account for a little while, or said, okay, you can only do 5 tweets a day, and that's it. 5. You have a limit. Choose your words carefully. But but no, it's hard to control that dude. It's really hard to control him. I had no I was not jealous of Mark Meadows, his chief of staff, or any of his chiefs of staff. Kelly, who else was his chief of staff? Like I think like Reince Priebus was in there for like 5 seconds. It just didn't work. And then like terrible press secretaries, like Sean Spicer was awful. He was the worst press secretary I've ever seen. So bad. Okay. Marco Rubio. No, Marco Rubio does not have that X factor, but Chuck Norris does. And it's a shame that, and Thomas Sowell, he's too old. No offense to one of the greatest people in the world, Tony Montana. Tony Montana's not alive, is he? Okay, so let me read some. Let me just read some super chats here, real quick. Mitt Romney, no, I'm banning you. No, okay. Okay, here. Let's see. Here's some super chats. Z-Dog Viper says, will you enter politics or run for president sometime? No. I'm not a legislator. I'm not a lawyer, nor am I an economist. I'm a pundit, and that's as far as that's going to go. I don't have any current desire to run for office. And if I did run for office, it would be maybe for something local, but very, very unlikely. Politics is not fun. Not worth it. Brian O'Connor says, do you think that Biden's affairs in Ukraine will be looked into further now? Keep up the great work. I would love to know, and I think you're all with me when I say that I would love to know why the FBI had Hunter's laptop in possession for almost a year, had it during the time of impeachment, and didn't say anything. So I'd really like to know what the reasoning is behind that. That would be nice. Wouldn't that be nice? And I'll be very honest, I think the Senate's probably going to F it up. So we're probably never going to hear about Hunter's laptop ever again, which is a shame. Moonlight, the fact that they haven't called Alaska is irritating. It's Alaska. I agree. Thank you, Moonlight. Coding Jesus says, will Yang be in Biden's administration? I think so. Because he pulled for Biden, and that's something to a president. You're going to see Beto O'Rourke doing Second Amendment stuff. You're going to see Gavin Newsom probably. You might see Mario Cuomo. You're definitely going to see Garcetti, the mayor of Los Angeles. You're probably going to see the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, because she was a co-chair on Biden's campaign. So you're probably going to see her. You're probably going to see Amy Klobuchar as like Attorney General. Stacey Abrams for Supreme Court. That'd be funny. Vadim Platonov says, thanks. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Joe Slater says, Biden and Obama were attorneys. Yeah, and that's fine. But as far as being in it, you don't have to be a lawyer as president necessarily. All you do is you send stuff to Congress. Sometimes they go through it and then you sign it. You don't have to be a lawyer. I'm sure that Trump definitely has some of the skills as far as contracts and stuff, but you don't need it as president, but definitely in Congress or the Senate. EM says Elizabeth Warren for head of Indian Affairs. Sure. Jay says, what about Dan Crenshaw? I don't think he has. I'm not sold on him. That's all I'm going to say. I don't see it happening. Rocky Pintuzzi says, from what I see, recount doesn't mean ballot review in Michigan and Pennsylvania, and that's where the lawyers come in. So, and you're right, recount does not involve the scrutinizing of these things, but I think a lot of it's too late. I think a lot of ballots are probably received after 8 p.m. on election day, and I think there might have been shenanigans, and you might go, well, no, they were here. That pallet of ballots is here. Absolutely. What are you talking about? I mean, you can't prove otherwise, right? So, think that might come into play. Let's see. Tap the. I'm not gonna read that. Have you considered moving to Gitmo? Because I bet someone there has considered sending you there. Oh, I bet AOC has considered sending me there, and maybe Joe Biden. Kate Kamen says, I'm not the smartest, but can't Trump run again in 2024? He can, but why would he? He's going to be pushing 80 by the time he does it again. Why would he want to? And would you want to lose? You know, I mean, it's possible. I don't think he'd lose to I don't know. Why would you want to lose to Joe Biden potentially twice? But yeah, I don't see it happening. But yes, he can run. Definitely. You get 2 terms. They don't have to be consecutive. Inquisitor Floki says, the SCOTUS looks like it will be 51... You mean the Senate. The Senate will be 51 to 49. It'll be... Right now, it's 50 to 48, technically. There's 2 races in Georgia that need to be decided, and those are runoffs, so that's going to happen January 5th. So well before Biden takes office. Anonymous commentator says Trump 2024. Thank you very much. Paleofrogtarianism says Streamlabs won't accept my card, but Arizona went blue because of Californians, which killed our housing market. I hate California. I agree. Don Giggle says Trey Gowdy for SCOTUS. No, Ted Cruz first, then Mike Lee, then maybe another woman. Alexander says, thanks for your great videos and this live stream. Thank you. Super excited to hear him speaking unscripted, says Michael Pinal. Well, if you saw me on election night, I was there on Tim Pool's live stream, and it was really crazy. And I'll talk about that a little later, but a lot of really fun stuff. It was so nice meeting Lauren Chen. My goodness, she is so cool. And her boyfriend / producer Liam is great too. And Cassandra Fairbanks. If any of you don't follow me on Twitter and you want to follow me on Twitter or Parler, you can follow me at Don't Walk Run, all one word. Don't walk run on Twitter and Parler. And I've been tweeting a lot. So but Cassandra Fairbanks, she's on Twitter. She's great, and she is definitely worth the follow. And Tim Pool is really just a sweetheart, and just really very what's the word I'm looking for? Accommodating. He has a great space. And you have the studio there, and and also Seamus from Freedom Tunes was there. We did a show on Wednesday night, and let's see who else is there. There's a lot of people there. Jack Murphy, I met Jack Murphy briefly. We talked a little bit, but we didn't really talk off camera. And Ariel Scarella, she's, am I saying her last name right? You know Ariel. She's the girl that the lesbian that came out as conservative, and that was fun hanging out with her. So and of course Sour Patch Lids on Lydia on Tim Pool, that was really great. She's just a sweetheart. And a shout out to Poofy. Hi Poofy. Poofy's kind of my script doctor occasionally, so thank you Poofy, really good to see him. Let's see. James Casatelli says, I'm less worried about a Biden presidency than I am about an electorate that is celebrating a child sniffer. I agree. I do not understand. I don't understand, other than the fact that people hate Trump so much. I mean, I said that this is going to be really close, and I was like not wrong about that. If it wasn't for the economy and COVID and the civil unrest and everything, I think Trump would have definitely had a better chance. But just imagine that the scale was so tipped, and if Trump lost, it was not by a lot. It was not by a lot. And the fact that there wasn't a blue wave in the House and the Senate just really shows that there might be, possibly needs to be investigated, but there might be some shenanigans in our elections. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Not saying there are or aren't. Just saying that it is possible, and it needs to be investigated. Because otherwise, nobody is going to believe that Joe Biden is a legitimate president. But I mean, we had an illegitimate president for the last 4 years, right? The Democrats never accepted him as president, not for a day. And now we get to do it to Joe Biden. So, we can both play this game, guys. We can both play this game. Okay. Wu says this whole thing is a sham. I don't know if it's a sham, but we'll see what happens. Bees Cheese says, don't worry, it's another month before this is all over, and they will capital letters, find the corruption. That's possible. Kassab says, if Biden were to pass away in the upcoming months, what would happen? Would Harris immediately become president-elect before the transfer of power? Yes. Trump wouldn't win by default. It would go to Harris, and then Harris would pick somebody, not Pelosi. just for those of you thinking about it. Daroon Albane says, oh my God, the cheating. Don't know how much cheating there is. There has to be some. Just statistically, there has to be some. But we'll see how much. Swift Wolf Coyote says, because of Trump, my viewpoint has become conservative instead of being liberally minded. Like waking up from a fog. I hear that a lot. Plugged In says, CRT will be rampant. Infighting will be funny too. Vardic says, do we have to do everything for you? What? I don't know what that is. Oh, rubles? Did you give me rubles? That's funny. The bomb says, I live in New York too, and I think I'm going to leave. Biden and de Blasio are now going to destroy us in taxes and fund their COVID deficits. Florida is sounding really nice right now. Yeah, I might actually end up moving to Florida too. I'm not sure where yet. But now that this election is over, I can actually think about where I'm going. But New York I've been here for way too long. And I love New York. I love the city to death. I used to be able to go out to concerts all the time. It was easy to find a job as a freelancer, like as somebody that, was an editor and producer. Now for now, I don't need that. Who knows what's going to happen with YouTube? Who knows if they just ban every single conservative or left-leaning person. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Don't move to Kentucky. I don't know, Fen. Good to see you, Fen. I don't know if I'm going to move to Kentucky. I don't know where I'm going yet. I'm a Californian moving to Texas. I'll meet you there. Thank you, Peter King. Nah says move to Washington State. No income tax. Why would I want to move to Washington State? No. If I'm going to move somewhere, it's going to be a red state. So maybe Texas, maybe Florida, maybe not Georgia. I don't know. Maybe Nashville. Not that Nashville's a state. Nunya Business says, do you think that the possible fraud might hurt people to vote in the midterms? No, because COVID will be over by then. And there's going to be a reckoning, there's going to be, and remember the midterms, notice that the midterms are happening in like all all the shenanigans, all the extra counting and everything. Nevada, blue state. Arizona, blue state. Pennsylvania, blue state. Georgia, not blue state, but definitely like a very large demographic of Democrats at this point. Excuse me, I'm drinking some seltzer. I didn't even have time to make coffee. Let's see. Please move to West Virginia. We voted Republican 2-1 down the ballot and for Trump. So I've heard. Thank you, J. Francis Ward. So I'm going to stop reading these for a minute and let's see if anything changed. Nope. Biden's still the winner. For those of you joining, thank you so much for hanging out and stopping. I actually mistakenly launched a live stream about an hour ago, and it was just like the chat was going crazy, and I'm really sorry that I didn't get to hang on, but I wasn't ready. My audio wasn't even synced. I was even using the wrong. I wasn't using Streamlabs. I was using OBS. I forgot that I have Streamlabs. So I'm very sorry for that, and I will get to all your Streamlabs chat in a little bit. Let's just think. Oh, Joe Manchin is still a senator. I like Joe Manchin, but unfortunately, he's a Democrat. But he's definitely like, pro fracking, pro coal, pro oil. And I don't understand how the United States is supposed to stop oil production. Like, where do you think we get plastic from? We need to drill for oil. Where are we going to be dependent on petroleum from the Middle East again? So we can make plastic? No, that's insane. And I'm all if you could do 100% green energy, do it, but you can't. And where do you think we're getting all these batteries from? We're getting all these the materials to make batteries, and the battery technology isn't there yet. But where do you think we're getting all this stuff? We're getting it from China. We're getting it from overseas. There's some material here, but I don't think it's all of it. And people don't think, they're just thinking, oh, how is it going to affect the climate? And you're definitely going to see, first thing you're going to see is Biden doing that executive action to stop fracking on federal lands. That's happening. That's one of the first things he'll do. And the only time you're ever going to see him is when he signs an executive action. He's never going to take questions ever again. And you're going to see the press secretary is going to come out in the daily press briefing, and the only thing these reporters are going to ask is like, what kind of ice cream did Joe have today? What flavor was it? What brand ice cream? What brand ice cream did Joe have today? They're not going to ask him any tough questions. And it's going to be really fun to watch MSNBC and CNN and the Washington Post and the New York Times. It's going to be fun to watch all the layoffs happening soon. I guarantee it. It might take a year, but it's going to happen. Because what are they going to investigate? Hunter Biden? No, of course not. This is just really sad. In a way. I'm not triggered by this. I'm disappointed at the electorate for being low information voters and just voting for Joe Biden. Really, that's just insane. And I'm really shocked that Pennsylvania is going for Biden. I mean, by the slimmest of margins. But that's, he needed it. Trump needed Pennsylvania. He definitely needed Georgia. And then he needed to win either Arizona or Wisconsin or Michigan. And definitely North Carolina. And he's going to win North Carolina. So that's not even an issue. But really, just I can't believe that this is the end of MAGA for now. This is really, at least Trump. I think we're going to have to find a new guy to replace Trump, and it's not going to be easy. I mean, you can't replace him. I mean, Nikki Haley doesn't have that energy. Kristi Noem doesn't have that energy. But then again, maybe we don't need that energy. Maybe we need somebody that's a little calmer, a little more presidential. Trump was never... When Trump was trolling he was never like presidential in that respect, but he never thought that that America was ruined. He always thought that America could be better. He always had the best of intentions for the United States, and that's what I really loved about him. Even though he's just he's very polarizing, he's very divisive. He has very little tact sometimes, but I don't care about that so much. I care about the policy. A lot of things he said wasn't helpful, but like, look at the Abraham Accords. Look at what he was doing for black people as far as criminal justice reform, as far as these opportunity zones, as far as this platinum plan. You know, you think you're going to, you know what, there was this rap battle that I saw. I was actually going to cover it, but there was this Biden-Harris rap battle. It was like some two rappers that battle, like two famous rap battle guys. The absolute lamest rap, but they were basically saying, oh yeah, Biden's going to help black people get houses, get the, like own their stuff. And the plan is Joe Biden's going to give an $8,000 tax credit to black people so they can buy homes. It's like $8,000 doesn't even cover a down payment, you know? I mean, like, some of these plans are ridiculous, and that's never going to happen either. Well, at least we're not going to have Biden care is not going to happen. So that's a good thing too. That's the best thing. And I don't think that, and okay, somebody just wrote, Trump is still the president. Trump has not lost, you freaking idiots. And you're right. Not yet. I mean, right now the media is calling it. It would be amazing. It would be like the best story ever if Biden ended up conceding like in a month. That would be best case scenario. It's unlikely. Now it's unlikely. It seems unlikely. So, there's still hope, but it's slim. And I hate to be a downer, and I'm not conceding, but I'm saying right now, the New York Times is saying, the New York Times and CNN, they called it, and everybody's calling it for now. Legal battles aside, Biden, Kamala Harris is the next president of the United States. Let's be real about that. Again, hate to be a downer, but that's just the way it is, guys. Yeah. I know. I feel bad too. I'm not crying. I'm not going to go out and scream on I'm not gonna go scream on Inauguration Day, like sit on the ground and scream to the sky. And I don't think anybody is. I guess COVID's over, the Civil War is over, or the civil unrest is over. I don't know about a civil war. All right, let me read a couple more super chats here. Brandon Fix says, thanks for your videos in the last few months. I hope Tulsi stays active and runs as an independent in 2024. That won't happen. The press and the DNC and Hillary, they've all treated Tulsi Gabbard incredibly unfairly. I don't want to see her as president. She's a radical. She had a Green New Deal before AOC ever did. But I do like Tulsi. I bought a Tulsi shirt. I wanted a shirt. I bought a t-shirt and then I got a check back because the campaign had been suspended. So I guess they sent me back like the profit from like, I guess the profit they would have made from the shirt. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Ricky 505 says, I'm calling Russia. Come on, man. Where are you? Yeah. What happened? Remember there were like for years we were talking about this Russian interference and Russians weren't changing anybody's votes. It's crazy. Prepper Chris says, please come to East Tennessee. We're as red as it gets. I don't drive though. I would need to learn to drive. I would need a car. Let's see. 323 Starlight says, considering there's a lot of legal battles, this whole election hasn't ended yet. And that's true. One type YouTube says, heard we'll have to wait until November 12th. Well, remember, this is just the media calling it. It looks tough, but again, we're going to see what happens. Nate Hahn says, my wife is a teacher. She says her students can't wait for the AOC presidency after Biden, and that's way scarier than Biden ever could be. I will say that I think that she's probably going to run for Senate. There's this Vanity Fair article where she's basically saying that that she doesn't see herself in the House forever. And yeah, I mean, why be a congressperson when you can be a senator or when you can be president? She'll run for president. She won't go anywhere, but she will definitely run for Senate, and she'll win because Schumer is going to probably retire soon. He's getting up there in age. Gillibrand, after her terrible showing in the debates, she's very vulnerable right now, and I could see AOC beating her, like I could see AOC primarying her. So, but I don't see her as president. I mean, who knows? It'd be amazing for my channel. But Krayler Maid says, I'm genuinely curious. Why do you live in New York? Do you get fed up with the federal, with the local government there? Yeah. Look, when I was a kid, I wanted to live here. I always wanted to live in New York. The tall buildings. Like I read a children's book where you see like all the tall buildings and stuff, and going through in the children's book, I had like an illustration of the Lincoln Tunnel. And when you pass through the Lincoln Tunnel, there's when you pass between New Jersey and New York, there's like the tile of the tunnel. It shows that you're passing between states. And I saw that in a book, and I just wanted to see that. And when I saw that when I was 10 years old, I'm going through the tunnel and I'm just waiting to see that. And that just was like such a highlight of my childhood, reading something in a book and then seeing it for real. But I always wanted to live in New York. It's easy to get a job here when you're a creative like myself. I would go to concerts all the time. I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of musician friends. And I really love being here. Like some of the best restaurants in the world. There's so much, the city has so much to offer, and now it's dying. I had a whole bunch of tickets for concerts that have all been postponed or just outright canceled, and that sucks. A lot of bands I wanted to see. I won't mention who they are right now. What else? Oh, the Holland Tunnel too, but I was in the Lincoln Tunnel. That's the first one I was in because we were going through Midtown. So, and hello again to Poofy. Say hi to Poofy in the chat. But that's why I live in New York, and I miss it. I miss old New York, and now it's dying. And we had the worst mayor in the history of our mayors. And the city council just didn't help either. Some of them are now representatives, including Richie Torres, who is awful. Sasha says, here's some money, my boy. Thank you, Sasha. Your favorite vampire succubus says this is going to the Supreme Court, right? I don't know how far it's going to go. I don't know exactly what they're going to be litigating in the Supreme Court, but you can definitely guess. Like if you've given any kind of money to Trump's legal fund, it's all going to that. Jonas says, remember the 2000 election? This is not over. No, but Bush always had the edge. And you can't compare 2000 to now because there were no mail-in ballots at all. That wasn't a thing. Alexander Garrison says, I don't get it, but I hope that Biden does his best. But I think that this is far from over. Tom Bowersock says, to help with your food delivery driver. And Fox News wins McLeod on. Andrew, have you watched? Oh, that's from a while ago. Okay, so let me do this here. Just thank you everybody for hanging out, and I'll take some questions in the super chats. I'm gonna read some Streamlabs stuff real quick. Let's see. Marin says, I disagree on Mike Pence not being a good candidate. Base will be energized by the Dems being in power. Pence will appeal to all the people who are put off by Trump's demeanor. And I was saying this on Tim's show when I was hanging out with Tim Pool. I was saying this on the live stream where Trump when they had the coronavirus briefings, Trump would come out and he's like, rah, 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 rah. And then Biden would just be like, everything's going to be fine. We're doing this. Everything's great. He's like so calming. It's like the yin and yang. And I like Pence. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if you can elect somebody just on the nostalgia factor. I mean, they just did with Biden, but I think it was more about, it could have been anybody at this point. So late in the game, it could have been anybody. It could have been Harris versus Trump. And maybe, because so many people came out as a referendum, like to vote for Trump, but they were definitely voting against Biden too. They didn't want a Biden presidency. Dan Duran says, do you think that Donald Trump Jr. would be a viable candidate? No. I think Trump, unless Donald Trump runs again in 2024, there will not be a repeat of, no, not happening. Poofy gave money for some reason. Says, how long until SJWs create cringy Republican tears compilations in mass? We were talking about that on Tim's show too, but I'm not upset. I'm a little frustrated and I'm confused, but I'm not going to cry. Not yet. Maybe I'll cry in January off camera, but I'm not going to do it right now. Taker 610 says Joe's response to Trump saying that he did nothing during the Obama years was the Republican Senate. Oh, no, he didn't say the Republican Senate. He said Republican Congress, which is not true. The first 2 years Biden definitely had. And this is great. This is great because remember when Biden says, well, I couldn't get anything done because of a Republican Congress, which wasn't true. Now he definitely has that excuse. And when he doesn't get anything done, a lot of people are going to be upset. And it's going to be great. But then again, people are going to be like, well, at least it's not Trump for another 4 years. So even if Biden, who's going to be an incredibly ineffective president, it's not going to be so bad as long as we hold the Senate. So don't worry about court packing right now. Don't worry about Puerto Rico becoming a state. Don't worry about Washington, D.C. becoming a state, even though they would have to be ratified by 2/3 of the states. And that might not happen either, too. So there's that, there's that small little detail. Insomniac Snorlax says, if the shoe were on the other foot and it looked like Trump had won, but they were still pending legal battles to be fought and irregularities to investigate, would the New York Times have called it for Trump? I would like to think so, actually. I would like to think so. Maybe not as quickly, but they would have called it like today or tomorrow. That's my thinking. Leslie says, I guess the pandemic is over now, right? Also, did you see CNN's Van Jones crying after hearing the results? By the way, loved you on Timcast IRL. Hope you'll be a guest again in the future. I hope so too. They have, Tim, I don't know if he was being polite, but Tim was like, come back anytime, and I'm close enough, so I might come back. I would like to go back. It was really fun. And they asked me to come. I was about to leave in the morning on the day after Election Day, and Tim was like, hey, I'd love to have you on tonight. I'm like, fine. Because I was just going to go home and not talk to anybody. I was just going to be just really, just looking at the computer screen for 24 hours. So I'm glad I stayed, and it was really fun. It was totally worth it. And a shout out to Tiffany at Tim's, one of Tim's staff people, who's really great and helped me get back to New York on Thursday morning. I was exhausted, by the way. This election just really knocked it out of me. Raving Mage says, it's outrageous much of the numbers coming from at least swing states doesn't make sense. Too much fraud from the Democrats. We don't know if it's fraud, but some of it just seems ridiculous. Poofy says, still at work. Thank you, Andrew, for your hard work. Oh, thank you, Poofy. Why are you still at work? It's a Saturday. Becky. Hi, Becky. Don't really have anything to say, just trying to help a little. Thank you, Becky. Gearhart. Reinholdson says, thanks for all the work you're doing. Pretty stressed at the moment, but I can still make time at 2:30 a.m. apparently. Well, thank you very much for jumping on. Hawk says, keep up the good work. Would you go on EFAP? I don't know who they are. What do you think of a citizenship exchange between allied nations for people of similar society? I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if I should really talk about that on my stream. Let me see. Am I monetized yet? No, not monetized. Unreal. So thank you for all your chats. It's definitely helpful. It's not easy being a right-leaning YouTuber. So I appreciate all the support, and I appreciate you guys subscribing to my channel and all the lovely fun times that we've had together over the last year and a half, 2 years of this election cycle. It's been pretty crazy. If you guys haven't seen it, by the way, I have a top 50 Biden blooper reel, and it's funny because it's actually doing okay, but I think a lot of people are just really sad right now and they don't want to think of Joe Biden, so they're not clicking on it. So it hasn't done as great. But my top 30 Biden blooper video has hit over 4 million views, but it's outdated now. It's outdated. So, let's see. Poop says you are still my favorite e-thought. It says, how is this for not politics? Maybe I might have listed this as comedy. Maybe. I don't remember. Defend the Police says, yes, we are serious. Thanks a million, police. And there's a link. I can't click on it right now. Joe Ricardo says, what about people retiring in the States? I don't know. What country should we move to, guys? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to read the chat right now. Let me know in the comments what country we should all move to. I hate when celebrities say that, though. They're like, oh, we're going to move. We're going to, like, if Trump wins, I'm going to move to Canada. So, well, you can tell me. Lots of new members, by the way. I'll get to all those people. Sarcastic Snow says 3 questions. What is your opinion on QAnon? I don't have one, really. Second, what is the most concerning politics trend? And what is a trend that gives you the most hope? That there wasn't a red wave. That's a good thing. I mean, there wasn't a blue wave. There's a good thing. It wasn't a red wave, but there definitely wasn't a blue wave. And if the trend continues, we'll take back the House and we might hold the Senate. And then we're going to have a Republican Congress. And then Joe Biden's going to have an excuse to not get anything done. Definitely. Let's go to North Korea. I've never been to Africa. Zimbabwe. That's funny. Thoughts on the Buffalo PD situation? Oh, no, that's, I don't know. I don't know what that is. But that's Taker 610. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Oh, do you know Sean, the actual Justice Warrior? He's in New York City. We've chatted, but we haven't met officially. But we follow each other on Twitter. We used to chat a little bit. I haven't had a lot of time. Roar says XOXOXO, Rory. Thank you, Rory. Nuisance 1111 says, do you think President Trump will win? I think it's a fat chance right now, unless all these legal battles actually bring up something substantive. Forget it. Oh, commerce is too easy. Says, I can't believe you're demonetizing. Yeah, me neither. We all have hope for Trump. Either way, We should want the election system to be overhauled. There are issues. I don't believe Biden will do anything anyways. He just wants to become president to keep from being thrown in prison. I will say this. I don't think that Joe Biden, I do believe he's corrupt. I do believe that. And I really hope that they don't, I mean, maybe they're going to continue all these cases and stuff against Trump. I don't know. And that's a shame too. Evangelist Franklin Graham says that the election isn't over. In North Dakota, I don't accept any of this. Wow. Okay. Kamala Harris. Golly jeepers. I can't believe Kamala Harris is the vice president and soon to be president of the United States. That's just insane to me. Becky says another donation because you're getting new members and I like your theme music. Thank you. White Coffee says such an enjoyable stream and channel as a whole. It's nice to be able to watch content and not have to be in defense mode constantly. Thanks. You know what's funny? When I did the top 50 video, and I was talking about Joe Biden's, fact checking Joe Biden at the debate and at the town hall. I was getting so much oh, no, fact check Trump. It's like, yeah, that's every other channel. That's every other channel. There's no balance. Nobody ever fact checks Biden. When I was looking at PolitiFact, they were with Trump, they were false. With Joe Biden, it was needs context. No, it's false. What he was saying was false. When he said that he wasn't gonna ban fracking, but he said he was gonna ban fracking. And when you say that you're gonna ban fracking on federal lands, that's banning fracking. So it's just ridiculous. Adam, has ASC ever interacted with you or acknowledged you on Twitter or elsewhere? That's a great question. No, she has not. But when I went to Washington, D.C. in 2019, I was outside of her office and it was the Congress was on recess, and I went by her. Let me see if I can find it. I went to her office, and it was closed, and it was locked. There was a little bit of staff there, but let me find this here. But I went to her office, and it was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. It was just oh, here we go. Great. There you go. I wasn't doing anything weird there. It's just an OK symbol. It's nothing. But if you look at her wall, it's just all these Post-it notes from visitors, wishing her luck and say, Black Lives Matter and all these things. And she has look at the flags too, which I thought was funny. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to say what they are, but you know what they are. But yeah, that was her office, and that was really fun to go see. But so while I was there, I saw her former chief of staff, Shaikat Chakrabarti, I think that's his last name. The guy that got fired basically for screwing up the Green New Deal FAQ. Well, for those of you who don't know that, when they released the Green New Deal, she put out an FAQ that basically said that we're going to get rid of airplanes and farting cows, which none of that's actually in the Green New Deal resolution, none of it. But it's there in the FAQ, and then she's like, "Oh, it was a rough version. It wasn't a final version," and then they never released a final version, so it was the final version because she sent it out. She sent a link to all these, to PBS at the time they were doing, they kind of had, the exclusive to it from the beginning. Oh, hearing a helicopter. Hope there's no civil unrest thanks to Joe Biden winning. Well, civil unrest is over, guys. Don't worry about that. That's done. That's over. And COVID's just about over, too. So let's see what else is happening here. Oh, I'm gonna keep reading the chats here. What happened to chats? Yeah. So, but otherwise, to answer the rest of your question. Otherwise, I have not interacted with ASC. I'd say she probably knows who I am. It's I'm gonna guess because I have to be like kind of like a thorn in her side in a lot of ways. So donations. See, Adrian says I wanted to know what you thought about Nikki Haley. Also, greetings from New York. Oh well, I'm in New York too, Adrian, and I think Nikki Haley's kind of a neocon. We would be at war with Syria right now, I think, if she, if it was up to her. And Carl Benjamin has a 3-part series on everything that happened in Syria or didn't happen in Syria. And it's great. And I actually spoke to this guy who looked at photos from the one of these so-called gas containers, which wasn't real. And he said why it couldn't have been one. And it was just like a rocket shell. And so, yeah, I'm not down on Nikki Haley, to be honest. Q8 Venom says there's an ancient tale of 2 women who were arguing over the custody of a child. They fought in the street until they started grabbing the child, but one of them, seeing that it was hurting, let it go, and it was judged to be the real mother and won. Okay. Seek and know. I'm sick and tired of living in a place where people like me aren't wanted. Well, we're so divided politically. And I have a friend, I won't mention their name, but I have a friend who is like, like kind of big on social media, but isn't particularly, not political on there. They just do what they do. And they were like, I want to come out as conservative. I want to talk about these things. I'm like, don't do it. Just talk to me. You want to chat about politics, you can talk to me. You don't need to like spread it out to the world. The world doesn't need to know what you think. Unless, of course, you're a political commentator. Like with Taylor Swift, I did not care about who she was into for president. I didn't care. I didn't want to know. On election day 2016, she was like in a line and she was basically said some kind of ambiguous thing like, go out and vote. And it was like, okay, great. That's great. Go out and vote. And everybody's like, well, why aren't you endorsing Hillary? It's like, because she wants to be a billionaire. Like, let her go. She doesn't have to have a political affiliation. And then she came out as a Democrat. Because I kind of thought that maybe because she was like, country music, like she didn't want to divide her audience. And I'm sure that she's alienated a lot of her fan base, which is a shame. I don't care what Taylor Swift thinks. I just want to hear good music. And then she released that song where she looked like Jake Gyllenhaal, the man or whatever. And it was so bad. And it's just like, oh, okay, I'm done with Taylor Swift for now. Although I hear her new album's pretty good. With what's his face from The National, who's a very, very talented guy. I've actually seen The National a couple times. They're a great band. But yeah, I know you're sick and tired, seek and now, but don't, we're going to be divided for a while. And I'm going to tell you this, Joe Biden is not going to solve racism, and he's not going to end violence against women, and he's not going to cure cancer. We're going to be pretty damn divided, especially with Kamala Harris, who's just as divisive as Joe. When Joe Biden calls people chumps and ugly and Trumpers, but then goes and says, well, I'm going to fight for you whether you voted for me or not. I'm going to be an American president. It's like, no, you're going to be divisive. That just shows it. It just shows it. When you start screaming about people protesting him, like a peaceful protest, basically. There were trucks that were driving around him, and he was angry about that. Really? They're protesting. I thought you were supposed to have the right to protest, Joe. Unless it's against him, then then you're chumps and ugly people. So Joe Biden's not helping anybody. Trust me. Trust me. Kevin says, I've been watching you since the Women's March video. Wow, that's an old one. And I've had a great time watching all your videos. I felt bad because I've never donated to you before, and I hope this starts to make up for it. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Kevin Kraft. Marin says, I disagree on Mike Pence on not being a good candidate. I'm caught up there. Well, let's see if there's any more. Greetings from Spain. Thank you, Javier. Andrew, greetings from Spain. Andrew, could you explain for a foreigner why it's important for Republicans to keep the Senate under control? Because you have the House and the Senate. It's two sides of government, and they both have to. One is basically 435 people, Congress people, that are from every district in each state. Here, it's just 2 senators from each state, and it's all checks and balances. So if one side wants all this, but this side doesn't want it, you're never going to see, both of them are not going to meet in the middle. I mean, which is what happened with the COVID stimulus, that the House came up with a bill back in July, I think, and the Senate was like saying no to all of it because so much of it had nothing to do with the COVID response. So, and it would have been a waste of money. And I don't think that we even needed half the stimulus, honestly. But, and the Paycheck Protection Program, that was all designed just to keep people off of unemployment so that the unemployment statistics didn't go up to like 42%. That's all it was. It was just basically dragging it out a little bit. So, Adrian says, we've talked about Nikki Haley. Aaron Jones says, hi again. Why hasn't Biden talked about the obvious voter fraud going on? I wonder, because, you know what Jess said the other day. Repolify says, do you think relations with North Korea and Iran will get worse? Well, notice that Joe Biden hasn't called the Iranian government thugs, but they've definitely called the North Korean leader a thug. So good luck with that. It's a very good question. Thank you. I think things are probably going to get a little better with Iran because we're probably just going to give them even more money. And with North Korea, it's just going to be a stalemate, and they're probably going to start doing whatever they want again. And the reason that they've held back for a lot of things is because of China and Russia. China and Russia have a lot of control over North Korea. And if North Korea is quiet, then we don't have to have as much military like near South Korea. And basically we go, things are peaceful, so now we can kind of, pull things back. But, yeah. Skyjacker says Biden sniffs kids. Nadia didn't say anything, so thank you, Nadia, twice. Harry Dendel says, hey, Andrew, love the vids. Thank you very much. Inquisitor Floki says Trump needs to resign and pull a Nixon. Resign and have Pence full pardon him and his family. I don't think that he hasn't done anything. Clearly. But, and also the Democrats could always bring up other charges against him, so it might not work. You'd have to give him full immunity from future stuff, future findings. Kai Oldman says, here, take my money before Biden can. Derek Marsical says, nothing. Thank you, Derek. Danny Nelson says, if the left can say Trump isn't my president, I'm going to say Biden Harris is not my president. No more rules for thee, but not for me. I say play hardball. Is he the president? Yes. Is he going to have an asterisk next to it? And after all this, maybe. But if it wasn't for everybody tipping the scale against Trump, Trump would be the president right now. If COVID didn't happen, COVID and the civil unrest, it was all the wrench in the machine. Did not get a fair shake. We all know that. Hopefully it won't happen again. Ah, boy. Wow. This is all right. Stop looking at ASC's office here. Biden beats Trump. Harris's first woman. They should say that she's the first black woman, first black woman and Asian woman. That's very important. Boy. Now that Trump, Dominic Mannon says, now that Trump is basically defeated, who's gonna be the new neolibs' new boogeyman? Oh boy. Mitch McConnell, for now. Again, they if there's going to be a SCOTUS pick, it better happen in the first 3 years. It better happen, because come 2024, forget it. Mitch McConnell he's going to stop it from happening again. Trust me, that's gonna be a big thing. There will be no SCOTUS nomination or confirmation. Excuse me. In 2024, so they better frickin' do it now. Lloyd Fredrickson says, "What do you think will come of the votes that seem to be cast by dead people?" I haven't seen that yet. We know that statistically there has to be some on the voter rolls, but we don't know how many of them voted. We don't know any of that, so we don't know. Big Brain says, "What are the odds of holding the Senate?" We're holding it. Because in the January 5th runoff, there's not going to be as much. It's not a presidential election, so there's not going to be as much enthusiasm to get out and vote, unless, of course, they're going to do mail-in ballots for this runoff, and I'm not sure that's going to happen. Gamer Nate says a big win right now is that Pelosi is at risk of losing her speakership. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. The way they pick speaker, the way they pick all these people is who raises the most money. Pelosi raises the most money. She's not going anywhere. She's vulnerable. She's not going anywhere. Who are you going to replace her with? Who are you going to replace her with? Nobody. You can't replace Nancy Pelosi. And also, I think Biden is probably going to suggest and get in Pelosi's corner. They were also saying the same thing when AOC and the squad were nominated, were elected, because they wouldn't actually say who. She wouldn't say whether or not she supported Pelosi as speaker. Yeah, I don't see that happening, honestly. But we'll see. Anything can happen, man. It's 2020. Oh, actually, that'll be 2021. 2021. Okay. But good question. Thank you. Lloyd Fredrickson says, "What do you think of some of the votes that seem to be cast by..." Oh, wait, no, I read that one. Big Brain, blah, 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 blah. E-commerce is too easy. Says, "I can't believe you're demonetized. I hope for Trump. Either way, we would want the election system to be overhauled. There are issues. I don't believe Biden will do anything anyways. He just wants to become president for being..." Yeah. So not lunatic programmer says not monetized, not monetized, not cool. Oh, KP says, is there validity to the computer glitch story? It's not a glitch. I think it was just the way that, things were entered. Maybe. I don't know the full story on that, but we'll see if that comes to fruition. Fen says, do you believe they cheated? They tipped the scales. I don't know if they cheated. We'll see. We'll see if there's an investigation. JJ says Dems will bring Stalin back from the dead, I guess. Flip Karowski says, "I'm convinced they'll try to push voter fraud in Georgia's runoff elections." No, because there were between Collins and Loeffler and the Democrat, there were more than 500,000 more votes for the Republicans combined. So I don't see the Democrats able to win. At least not that. I don't see that happening. Game Master says, "How long until Biden makes a big gaffe talking to world leaders?" They're not going to let him talk to world leaders. They're not going to let him talk to world leaders. Are you kidding? They're going to Harris do it. With Harris's amazing foreign policy experience. And that's something I was thinking about. Maybe they're going to bring back Susan Rice, because Biden and Rice were like that. So I could see her maybe becoming national security advisor again, maybe Secretary of State again. Who knows? It's very possible. He's awful at foreign policy, so anything can happen. Let's see. Chris L. Let's see. Do you think Texas is in danger of flipping blue next election? No. The California virus is spreading to Texas. Yeah, and that's possible. I think a lot of people are leaving California because of homelessness, of super high taxes, of all these things. But then when they move to Texas, they'll be like, I don't like how they handle things down here with this, with that. And then Texas could flip eventually, but not in the next 10 years, I don't think. CD Soundtrack Stream says, has anyone made a Weekend at Biden's joke? There's actually an ad, like a really, really good political ad that was like a Weekend at Biden's thing. Look it up. I'm not going to play it here. I don't know if I could get struck with copyright, but it's great. Seek and know, how many conservatives and independents will no longer vote because of the fraud that won't be changed? When Trump won in 2016, everyone went, "Ow." I think after this election, people like conservatives and independents that voted for Trump are going to be even more determined to make sure, like, this isn't there could be, this could actually mobilize Republicans to flip their state legislators if it's, if they're not Republican already. Because guess who made these egregious election rules? That was the states, and the governor. Tom Wolf is awful, by the way. It's governor of Pennsylvania. Genesis says, you're telling me this man couldn't get more than a couple cars at one rally, and more people voted for him than Obama? No way, I'm not buying it. It's all mail-in votes, man. It has all to do with that. Citizen Battle says, what do you think of the 79 days PDF released by the Claremont Institute? I haven't seen it. I'm not sure. Esoteric Juice says, I think it's funny how the Democrats caused a civil unrest over the summer and Biden still supposedly won. I know. The Black Blur says, do you think that the next guy has to be a billionaire? No. Trump couldn't be bought out due to money being in politics. And that was a big thing. I didn't understand how they could say that Trump was corrupt when he never did things that were selfish. That's what corruption is. It's self-serving things, or like to get money. He didn't need money. He gave all of his money to charity and put money that he made, some money, like if a foreign dignitary stayed at one of his hotels, and the profit that he would make from that, he would put directly into the treasury. And I don't have a number on that. I think the first year was like $55,000 or something. Do not quote me on that. Esoteric Juice and Jeff Vanderveer didn't give me anything. I mean, they did give me something. They didn't say anything. So thank you. Garrett says, live in California, might have a Republican mayor, MAGA hope. Some parts of California are Republican. They're definitely red. Not necessarily worth being in the entire state for. Seth Blackburn says, my dad's construction business struggled during Obama, flourished during Trump. I'm glad I'm leaving for Trinidad. My father is leaving to Africa to build infrastructure. Oh, that's... You're not going to build infrastructure here? No, I'm kidding. Well, remember, Biden's supposed to have an infrastructure plan. Trump, that's a couple things that the... I think that was definitely a couple things that the Democrats were complaining about, or not complaining. They would have shot it down anyway. But they're saying, "Oh, Trump's supposed to have an infrastructure bill. Where is it? We don't see it." And there was the other one. Well, where's this healthcare plan? And Trump said numerous times, and this is kind of Trump's fault. Trump came out numerous times and said, "Oh, we're going to have a healthcare plan. We're going to protect pre-existing conditions. We're going to have a healthcare plan." And instead, they never released it. And so, in the meantime, the Democrats forgetting that Trump said we're going to protect pre-existing conditions, said, "Oh, they're going to take away your health care, and you're not going to be able to get coverage for pre-existing conditions." And I think that's definitely something that hurt Trump. I think it's definitely something that hurt him in the long run. Infrastructure bill is one thing. They might have released it this year but then, COVID happened and there were other things to focus on. But that healthcare plan, I don't know what happened to it. And so at this point, we're never, ever going to see it. He might pass it on to the next Republican nominee. Because guess what? I sound like Joe Biden there. Well, guess what? Look, here's the situation. If they could figure out like the Abraham Accords, like, Middle Eastern peace accord, like being able to deal with the Middle East, you could probably, I would say that if he can do that, he could probably deal with healthcare. Because nobody thought of what Trump did with the Abraham Accords. Just really brilliant stuff. Which I kind of wanted to talk about in the video, but unfortunately it just never came about. Unfortunately, I only have so much time in today. I'm like a one-man band here. I'm sorry to say. I don't have a staff, but Garrett also says origins of Don't Walk Run. Worried for military, by the way. Well, Biden says, God bless America and God protect our troops after every speech. So I don't know if he's gonna defund the military, like take funds away. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? And Don't Walk Run, it's just the production name. It just came up with these old commercials, don't walk, run to your nearest Toyota dealer. So that kind of thing. Somebody's playing music already. I guess they're all excited about Joe Biden. Who can be actually excited about Joe Biden? You're excited that Trump is gone. You're not excited that Biden is your next president. Come on. He's not. There's no enthusiasm there. Boomiest Bomb says, do you think the Supreme Court's going to come out at E3 this year and announce they ruled in favor of Trump as president? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what these lawyers, what they're going to present to SCOTUS. I don't know. But to call the election right now is kind of silly. They're projecting it. They're not saying officially, but Joe Biden's going to speak tonight, and that's going to be really fun. Can't wait. It's going to be inspiring. He says the same 20 things in every single speech. He's going to say, I ran as a Democrat, but I'm going to be an American president, whether you voted for me or not. He's going to say, look, and come on, man, a couple times. Stinks. Devala says, I love your videos and I find the production value to be excellent. Thank you. It's all in the editing. I just have a brick wall and my dumb voice and like a good microphone and a decent camera and a teleprompter. I don't sit and my scripts are very, they're very complicated, but thank you for that. Emmanuel says, what do you feel is the next steps for the conservative movement? How do we move on from this? Is it time to reorganize? Much love, big fan. We just got to keep, that's like Joe Biden says, you got to keep the faith and spread the faith. Just like his grandfather and his grandmother said. We need to, I'm more right leaning. I'm not really conservative. Not really a surprise. I've said that before. We just need to find somebody, Republicans need to find somebody that's charismatic and is better than Joe Biden. I mean, if you think about Obama, right? Obama, when he ran John McCain was never going to beat Obama. It was like, at that point, it was like a time in history, and it was time to have an African-American president. And then by his second term, he was still popular, but you ran Mitt Romney against him. Like, that was your best guy. And the same thing with George Bush in 2004. Like, your best guy. Nobody liked George Bush. But your best guy was John Kerry? No. It was never going to happen. Or Howard Dean at one point was like leading into polls. With Harris as president, or even Joe Biden, that's going to be really easy. You can't put somebody who's divisive like Ted Cruz. You can't, or Marco Rubio. You need to have somebody who's kind of diplomatic, who checks a lot of boxes, and I hate to go into identity politics, but an African American or a woman, or an African American woman. If you had a ticket that was a man and a woman, that would be amazing. And of course, everybody who is screaming about how Kamala Harris was mistreated because she's a woman, then all those same people who were complaining are gonna go full out against whichever woman runs as a Republican. I mean, they just destroyed Sarah Palin by asking her questions like, "Oh, what newspapers do you read?" Well, all of them. No, name some. Guess what? I read everything. I read. I mean, I could actually name newspapers. I don't know why she couldn't, but I read everything too. I read the Times. I read CNN. I read the Wall Street Journal. I read the Washington Post. Unfortunately, I have to have I have to have an account with them. I actually pay the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal. I can get around the Times, and I write it off. It's fine. I have a good accountant. And YouTube TV, and I don't watch a lot of Fox, honestly. I know everybody's like really against Fox right now, except for Tucker, but I watch Fox Business a lot. Like, I watch Mornings with Maria. That's like my favorite in the morning. I don't know where I'm going with this. I lost my accuracy. Says, wouldn't be surprised if the Biden laptop will be used as leverage to have Joe follow orders and have Kamala lead. That laptop's gone. It's gone. That's all done. That thing's over at this point. It's a shame. And I don't think that the Senate's going to be able to do anything with it, which is a shame too. They always screw those things up, like Benghazi and all these things. They always screw it up. So, KP says, I hope Biden's healthy to hold out for 4 years. I'd rather him than a stinking Harris administration. Do you think we're going to go into lockdowns? No, and I don't think you're ever going to hear the death stat the second that Biden becomes. You're never going to hear the term dark winter. You're never going to hear those things ever again. So, Lean Mean Revenge Machine. Thank you all for the support and all the super chats and the Streamlabs donations. By the way, it's all very wow. There's a lot of them. Thank you. It's all really helpful. I mean, if you've watched this video from the beginning, I didn't say anything out of the ordinary. And I have monetization problems all the time with YouTube for no reason. I'm not edgy. I'm not insulting to people other than saying, that, maybe calling people idiots once in a while. But it's unreal. I don't know what to do. I wish I need a partner manager at YouTube. I need somebody to help me out here because this is just really annoying. I would like to be able to not deal with monetization issues, and I would like to think about take that energy and put it into videos instead. I have to babysit videos and make sure that they're not demonetized. So not really fun. Anyway, but thank you for all the support and all the super chats and all the Streamlabs. I'm going to get through all these. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the support and following me on. Remember, I'm on Twitter. Oh, I'm on. As I said before, I am on Instagram. I am at Don't Walk Run Productions, and I need 10,000 followers before I can actually put links and stuff into my highlight stories and whatever, because I really want to be able to say, hey, there's, this is my, click here to go to my video on YouTube. And no, I don't put my whole videos on Instagram because it's silly, because I don't get monetized from them, which means I don't, You know, people are like, well, go to BitChute. Like, yeah, but I don't get paid on BitChute. Like, this is my job. This is my hobby. I'm not doing this as a public service. I need, I mean, I know it sounds awful, but, this is my job, Lean, Mean, Revenge Machine says, whoever expected the Democrats to play fairly? From a man who pulled almost no support throughout the entire race with a huge enthusiasm gap. Sus AF. I agree. I love how if you saw last night, they just parked like a whole bunch of cars outside, like all those Jeeps and pickup trucks. And nobody was in them. They were just there. All spaced well. It's almost like those were, they're fake. They're fake. People aren't driving in. I think probably too because of security purposes. But none of those cars, they're not people's cars. They're all from a car lot somewhere. If you've seen that. Inquisitor Floki says, even if the Senate goes 52-48, the issue is the two turncoat reps who regularly vote for the Dems. Susan Collins, I don't blame her for not voting for Coney Barrett. I don't blame her a bit. Because she had a tough Senate race. She ended up winning by 9 points. Because it was like, if you look at her, at the polls between Susan Collins and Gideon was up at like as much as, like maybe 9 or 10 points, like something like maybe more than that. I can't remember, but she didn't have to vote for Coney Barrett. And she said that if that situation came up again, she would not do it. And she kept her word, and that has integrity. And I don't have a problem with that because she said it. Right. But it turns out that the Republicans did not need her vote anyway. So it all worked out fine, guys. And Collins ended up winning by like 8.8 points. 8.8 points. That's funny. So I think Lobo says, what do you think if Jocko Winnick ever ran for anything, or is he too hardcore? I don't know who that is. Sorry to say. Nomad 443 says, well, I tell you what, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't dead. Taker 610 says, Andrew, people are cheering because Biden is letting voters run their hands up and down his hairy legs. Already Joe is thinking about smelling and awkward touching as he can do as a president. Wow. Can you imagine? Becky says, my 16-year-old son is binging on your videos today. I remember when he got his license. He loves you. Also, hello to your son. Also, is there another Becky here saying the same things I said before, or did Streamlabs just give you old super chats? They might have been old super chats, but it's fine anyway. Apparently I read an old poofy one. Greetings from Spain, Andrew. Could you explain? Oh, I'm all caught up there. Okay, great. So, great. And let me read some more super chats here. 1/3 of Mexico has been absorbed by the USA. Fact of the Mexican and U.S. census counts. This is from Chuggity Mugs. Okay. This is what really happened to Trump. No. I don't think so. I think just the mail-in voting just really screwed up everything. That's the problem. That's the big thing. Catherine Scully says, whoever wins, let us remember that Jesus is Lord, and that is way more important. I will agree with that. And I love the other day when Trump said, somebody said I was the most famous person in the world. He's like, no, that's not true. He's like, no, you are. It's like, no, Jesus is more famous. And the crowd went crazy. I thought that was funny. I paraphrased. I didn't get the quote right. Brendan says, how long do you think it will take for Biden to violate our Second Amendment rights? I remember Harris is talking about executive actions during the debates, and then Biden says you can't do it by executive action because it's unconstitutional. Either he'll try something that's unconstitutional and it'll go to SCOTUS, or they'll have to wait for a Democrat-controlled Congress, and that's not happening. I'm going to make that prediction that will not happen during the first 4 years of Biden's / Harris's term. Danielle Favel says, do you think that the influence Democratic Party had with many propaganda, racial divide, and hatred towards Trump is corrupt and can be legally prosecuted now. As you can say anything you want about these people, and you could say, I'm not telling you what to do, but I could see where people could just say false things about Biden. And if he comes out and disavows something, that they'd say, oh no, he never said that. And just keep going and just call him names. So, Democrats want to play that game. Republicans can too. Chuggity Muggs says, joke Biden. America is deluded and brainwashed and says America is completely screwed. We're not completely screwed yet. We're fine. We have a Republican Senate. We're okay. Guys, we're okay. S Smokin 2010 says, I feel like the people that voted out Trump think that their problems will be gone. Do you think they realize the problem is themselves? They'll look pretty dumb blaming Biden. Biden, again, he's going to be ineffective. So, Biden will, even if Biden lasts through campaigns for a second term, he won't win. True Helper says, thank you for your coverage. I moderate for Anthony Brian Logan plus others and find your work to be outstanding. If you need any modding, I'd volunteer. Well, thank you, True Helper. I appreciate that. I will see about making you a mod later. Becky, hello. Becky has to go. Say goodbye to Becky Winters, everybody. Becky's great. Becky follows me on Twitter and is a great person. So thank you, Becky. Let's see. Joshua Hollenbeck says nothing, but gave me $1. Thank you. Sunel Prasad says, do you think Pompeo will run in 2024? I don't know. Pompeo's great. I love Pompeo, and I actually know somebody. I used to work with somebody who now works with him, and maybe now she'll have her old job back. Yeah, Pompeo doesn't have that it factor, but he'll be back. Danny Nelson says, thoughts on mail-in ballots and early voting? I loathe both because they're susceptible to impropriety and not necessarily fraud. That's true. We'll see what happens. I don't have a problem with early voting necessarily. I'd rather be early than coming in days after election day. Will Trump keep his promise and pull troops from Afghanistan? To my knowledge, we only have a few thousand there anyway, but I'd love it if we just got the heck out. You are probably going to see stuff start under Biden, so that's fun. Can't wait for another war. That's my prediction. Moonshine, the Leo Cat says, did you see AOC's tweet where she was making a list to target Trump supporters? Yeah, and she's not deplorable. Nadia says, have you visited AOC's island in Animal Crossing? No, and I haven't logged into Animal Crossing in months. I hope all of my islanders are okay. Chris Chappelle says, how did the peace treaties hold up in a Biden presidency, and what happens with Israel? Well, it depends if they want to work with Biden. It depends how if he keeps the template like the same way, he's going to take credit for it. But we'll all know that, hey, I don't care about who initiates substantive peace agreements in the Middle East. I don't care, as long as you get it done. And that's what matters. So if Biden builds on top of what Kushner and his team put together, then that's fine. But if he's going to take credit for it, we'll know he's a liar. What will happen to Michael Flynn under Biden? Boy, I don't know. Is that all over yet? Is that still going on? I think it's all over. I can't remember. I'm just so tired. It's been the longest week. Dust Storm says, my new yard will read Trump 2021. It's going to take a while to remove this fraud upon the American people. You can do the same. Hey, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw my Asteroid 2020 t-shirts, but if you let me know right now if you'd be interested in an Asteroid 2024 t-shirt. Let me know in chat. Yes or no. And maybe I will go on Teespring a little later. I was not prepared to do a live stream today. I was not prepared to do it. I thought that I was thinking about doing one on Sunday, but then I was like, oh, my next video is important to you, so I'll just put that out. It's still important, but let me know if you'd be interested in an Asteroid 2024 t-shirt. I think it'll be fun. Easy to make up. I like the Bernie logo, and I definitely need to make some more t-shirts. So, JM says, hi, Andrew, loved the content. Did you see Keith Olbermann's meltdown a couple days ago? I didn't see that, but I heard, which I thought was pretty funny. Oh, everybody's saying make that shirt. Okay. All right, I'll do it. I think so. Well, you keep saying, will the Epstein Island scandal keep being investigated? Well, I mean, that case is still going on. So, Allison Wonderland says, do you think there is fraud? What are your thoughts? Do you think Trump will try and pardon Julian or Snowden? Good question. Good question. I don't know. I don't know if Biden will either. Also, like around Christmas, look for Trump to do like a whole bunch of pardons, like and commutations. That's definitely gonna happen. Hung Fat says, what do you think of Actual Justice Warrior? I talked about Sean before. He lives in Queens. We probably would have met up at some point, but you know, COVID 2020. So that's what happened there. Jackson Moody says, I've been watching the video since the tax expert episode. Love the content. Keeps me sane in a high school that loves AOC. Yeah, tell me about it. Well, keep it up. Thank you very much, Jackson. And I want to do more AOC stuff. And I really miss the fact that these subcommittees aren't being held in in the chamber. They're actually being held in like over Zoom, and they don't make for great video. And plus, I've been really busy with this whole oh, hi, Nolan, by the way. With this whole COVID thing, and a whole election thing and everything. But I do love doing AOC videos. In the last one, people were excited that I did an AOC video instead of a Biden video. And I was really hoping to do like a Biden post-mortem, like what happened, like why he lost. And it still could happen. Not ruling out that discrepancies aren't found and that Trump wins. It's unlikely at this point, but who knows? It could happen. Carmichael Snyder says, keep up the good content. Always look forward to the content. Thank you. Aaron Jones says, hi again. Why hasn't Biden talked about the obvious voter fraud going on? He doesn't care. And I think I've reached the end of that. Refresh. 951 Ryan says, I love Vanessa Montes. Well, Ryan loves Vanessa Montes. I don't know who that is. Montes? Not sure. Hey, Andrew, I love your content and your positive attitude. Any tips for managing anxiety during these crazy times, says Ed Lamb. Well, Ed, I will say that don't worry. America is not going anywhere. America's fine. It's not the end of democracy. It's not the end of our republic. Everything is fine. We still have the Senate. There was not a blue wave. This is a very, very, very close election. I've been saying that for months, that it was going to be super close. I knew it wasn't going to be a blowout. And I knew it was going to be close partially because of mail-in voting. Let's just talk about that. And 951 Ryan again says, I love you, Vanessa Montes. Okay. Good for you. Nice to be loved. IndieCev says, I'm a high school student. I've been watching your videos on student debt a lot. I've been worried about picking the right major. Do you think international relations affairs are a good choice? It's the one that sounds interesting to me. Sorry. If you know other languages, it's helpful. If not, there's a lot of, like, I think ASC went for international relations. So I would just think about how much you can get back in like on your return on investment. Because, and remember, you need to make, if you take out $100,000 in loans, you should be able to make $200,000 in your first year. Otherwise, you really need to be careful. Unless mommy and daddy have money and, just do what you want. By the way, Nomad, again, thank you for the very generous donation. I'll read it again, but he said, well, I'll tell you what, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or for Trump, then you ain't dead. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, what do you think about the Dems doing super poorly in Congress and local elections? Especially important because it's a redistricting year where, okay, so because of the census, and New York State was expected to lose 2 electoral votes, and also, congressional seats, right? Now with COVID and even more people moving out, we could possibly lose 3 congressional seats, and they would be spread out to wherever these people moved, right? Which also means that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez could lose her district. But at that point, it might not even matter because she might end up just deciding to run for Senate, and that doesn't really fall under that kind of thing. So, there you go. So, yeah, but what do I think of them doing poorly? Defund the police, socialism, all these things that are freaking people out. And a lot of these, like, look at Florida. That's like Donna Shalala. She was some secretary of something in Obama's administration. She ran for Congress. She won. She was a freshman. She only served 1 term because she got voted out in Florida. Because again, Florida was the way that the Hispanic community came out for Trump in Florida is just great. Like they really which pretty much shows that Bernie would have even done worse there, honestly. So but what do I think about it? I think that the media was definitely, and these polls too, they were hyping up a blue wave that was never going to happen. That's just how it is. Okay, well, I think it's probably time to wrap up. Let me see if there's any more super chats. McCoy says I'm going to miss Trump. He is fun. I agree. I'm going to miss him too. And by the way, he's done on Twitter. He's gone. As soon as Biden is inaugurated, like at 12 p.m. on Inauguration Day, Trump's deleted. It's done. He'll be suspended. Rip Trump. Tran Khan says, do you think that the economy is going to collapse under Biden? It doesn't seem that way for now. I would definitely maybe invest in some gold and silver. MEYCK97 says Armenia will be bombed by Biden because Russia. Not sure, but we're definitely going to go to war with somebody. Marcus Wells says, how does Biden win affect tech freedom of speech? It doesn't. Maybe when the Republicans gain back control of the House, then there'll be some kind of reckoning, but we'll see if that ever happens. And a lot of Congress people, both Democrat and Republican, are in the pockets of big tech. So, womp womp. Evan Smith says, love your stuff. Disappointed how this played out, but hope old Joe does a good job and isn't murdered by Kamala. Well, let's hope not either. I wish Joe the best. I hope he's a great president. He'll be incredibly ineffective, but I hope that he stays healthy and is not snuffed out by Kamala, as you suggest. I'm pretty sure that will not happen. Hillary, on the other hand, Big Jogger just gave some nice money. Thank you so much. Danny Nelson says thoughts on income taxes as the left loves to tax high and keep people suffering. I moved from Ohio and that state and local income tax to Texas, which has neither. Well, Biden says that they're going to end the Trump tax cuts. And then they had to clarify and say that they're only going to do it for like the top earners, everybody over 400,000, but that's going to leak down because if the rich are making less money, they're going to invest less, and then corporations will be able to hire less and they'll make less money, and that, weaker salaries. So it all trickles down. Plasma says, do you really believe voter fraud occurred to the extent that the president is claiming? Not sure. We'll see. Don't know. Redheaded Idiot says, I don't agree with a lot of your views. Actually, probably all of them, but I appreciate that you are bipartisan a lot of the time. Good work, man. Thank you, Redheaded Idiot. You don't have to agree with me all the time. Don't be a sheep. If you hear something that sounds skeptical, that's fine. Don't worry about it, honestly. Oh, somebody sent us stickers. Big Jogger says, thanks for being you. Well, thank you very much for that. And I'm going to check before the end and see if anybody else sent stickers. And I am still demonetized. Wow. It says, oh, wait, hold on. Oh, it's still being reviewed. It's going to be reviewed like way after this ends, of course. Jared Collins says, yes, super pumped today. I've been a big Joe guy for years. I'm a real Biden head. My impression of someone who doesn't exist. Martine Netherlands says, hello from the Netherlands. I love your channel. Thank you very much. Charity Mug says, many modern humans have lost their survival instincts. I mean, obviously, I don't know why people or anybody is voting for Joe Biden. I don't get it. Other than to vote against Trump. So I get it, I guess. Chris L says, do you think that voter ID legislation will ever get passed in the United States? It's quite absurd to me that the leading nation of the world does not have voter ID. Well, now that mail-in voting might become like the new normal, it's very possible that voter ID isn't even going to be a thing anymore. I think a lot of these voter registrations are going to be tied into like driver's licenses and stuff. Driver's licenses and other forms of ID. So, it might end up being secure eventually. But the problem is that when you send out all these the problem is when you have voter rolls that aren't properly maintained, you have people that have moved, you have people that have passed away, you all these things happen, and then you just send out all these ballots to, like, I received, like, I know people that have received ballots from old, like, roommates, right? I never got a ballot, by the way. I never actually got, I went and I voted early. I thought that you were supposed to get ballots. Maybe you were supposed to request it. I don't know. But first time that New York ever did early voting, and I did that. I did that maybe like 2 weeks before, like the third day of early voting. I waited in line for about an hour. That was it. It was easy peasy. But I think that voter ID legislation is, it could happen if we get a Republican Congress again. That's very possible. Let's see. Wow. Am I all caught up on that? Shy Zoomer Republican voter says, what do you think about Dems doing super poorly in wait, did I read that already? Doing super poorly in Congress and local elections. See, I don't know about local elections, though. I heard a lot of states actually flipped to Republican legislators. I don't have the exact stat on that, so I heard that it happened in a couple states, so that's a good thing. Always. But, in New York, you have to vote Democrat, or I'll just, like, write in somebody. For president, for Romney, I didn't want to vote for Romney. and I knew about, in New York State. Oh wait, not Romney, McCain. I didn't like McCain. I didn't really like Romney either. I voted for Romney, but I didn't vote for McCain. And I actually wrote in Judah Friedlander, from 30 Rock. So Judah Friedlander, the world champion. Okay, I think that's super chats. Pardon Snowden and Julian. Tom Sawyer, thank you. Media doesn't call elections, commissions do. Thank you, Cameron Bates. Sup, Vanessa, what are you doing tonight? Says Joe B. And let me see if I can find real quick let's see, supers. Nope. That's not a thing. I can't figure out where to find the stickers. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe they're here. I don't know. I'm sorry. If you sent a sticker, I really appreciate it. And I Heart 3D Printing says, do you think what I call some Biden revenge voters are having some degree of regret if Biden officially wins? I feel like it's kind of like saying I quit and forgetting you have bills to pay and work wasn't that bad. I think everybody who voted for Biden is really happy right now. They might regret it down the road when the economy takes a hit, if it does. Let's cross our fingers that it doesn't. I'm not that triggered, but not happy. Not happy about, there we go. So there's Joe. So I think that's it, guys. Sorry, sent my message twice. Says, shy Zoomer Republican voter. Well, thank you again. And I think that's it. I think I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for, don't freak out. Guys, do not freak out right now. Trump could still win. It could still pull it off. Don't worry about it. But it's not over yet. But in the meantime, Joe Biden's going to be a really ineffective president if he does take office. Marty Skip says, it just says nothing. Says thank you. Oh, and then hang on, my members. Wow. Whole bunch of members. I think they came up in the thing, so I don't necessarily need to read off everybody's name, but thank you for becoming members. Thank you for all the super chats and donations. I cannot believe that this video where I said absolutely nothing that was controversial was demonetized, like right out of the gate. So thank you for all that. Thanks for spending some time. Do not freak out. It is not the end of democracy. It's not the end of the world. Everything will be fine as long as we hold the Senate. We're not going to see packing to court. We're not going to see Puerto Rico as a state or Washington, D.C. as a state. We're not going to see Biden care. We're not going to see immigration reform. Let's not give the left the satisfaction of us freaking out, says Danny Nelson. I agree. So I wofor I would like to thank everybody again for hanging out. And that's it, I think. Thank you again. And just keep the faith. Everything will be fine. Everything's going to be okay. I'll see you guys. Maybe I'll do something on Inauguration Day, and I'll definitely be doing something when Biden and or Trump does like his State of the Union or the joint address to Congress. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Thanks again.